Yo, what's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations. Yeah, I pretty much do this when I want to now. If something is interesting, I'll talk about it. If it's not interesting and it's redundant, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna record. It is what it is. I ain't got no excuse, no explanation. If you've been tuned in with me, you've been seeing me. I've been on Street Fighter. I've been on the game. I've been streaming. I've been having a lot more fun. I've been letting loose a little bit, a lot of bit. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to my childhood hobbies. But today, in Think Pieces and Conversations, I want to talk about two things that I watched yesterday in particular of this recording last night. I watched the Diddy documentary and I watched Stranger Things, the new season. I'm gonna be honest. Both of them, both of those seasons, the documentary and Stranger Things season 5, I was very pleased with what I watched with both of them. I only seen the first episode of the Diddy documentary, which is called The Reckoning or something like that on Netflix. I'm watching Stranger Things, right? If you don't know what Stranger Things is, people that's listening to me right now, I'm gonna play a little bit of the trailer. They're on season 5 right now. You might not know what's going on. Really, you might not know what's going on. But if you haven't seen Stranger Things, I suggest you go watch it. Then I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. I'm gonna talk about the story, how I felt about the story. I'm not gonna have no spoilers in particular, but this yeah, we gonna get into it right now. That's the first thing we gonna talk about. Where's my camera at? Where's my good camera?
We're really starting to lose it. Being stuck in here, no end in sight. Maybe tonight is our break.
Okay, so that's enough. See at the bottom, they talk about a guy named Vecna. Vecna is, if you know the show, is one of the antagonists of the series. A very, very formidable opponent for these and for the protagonists of the story. There's several of them. There's the high school kids. They start out in middle school and then they go to high school and I are they in the same middle school? I'm trying to think. Nah, I think they're in high school now. From season 1 to season 5, the age that they go from when they first start, the main characters, because they all start off as very small. The age that they start from to now, they're pretty much young adults. They're pretty much 20 something years old. They started the show back when they was at least 10 years old, bro. Let me see when the first season of Stranger Things was. When was the first season of Stranger Things? July 15th, 2016 was when it first premiered, right? Today is 2025. So this show has been on air for 9 years. A lot can happen in 9 years. People grow. Kids grow exponentially in 9 years. But let's get to the review of this thing, right? They're doing 2 seasons. Volume 1, Volume 2 of Season 5. Volume 1, the plot where they got off, where they left off, the development of the antagonist and even the protagonist of the story. You see some old faces, some new faces. You might even see some faces that you wouldn't believe you'd see because you would thought maybe they was gone or maybe they lost their life in the previous season. Certain things like that you see. You see a lot of dynamics changing. Some people that was loved ones, maybe their love grew. Some people that was in love, or some people that was boyfriends and girlfriends, they love changed. Some people found themselves. Some people really found themselves, and became even a more important part of the story. The overall direction that Stranger Things 5 is going and has went from season 1 to 5, this story and this show is very good. It's something I would recommend to anybody. I don't watch a lot of TV. Okay? I know that's might be a something that people don't really say that often. They don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of TV. The shows that I do watch, if I get past episode 1, it's probably a good show or it's probably developing into a very good show because my tolerance for a bad storyline, a bad plot, stupid characters, incompetent characters, it's not high. It's actually very low. So low that some people will recommend me a show, friends will recommend me a show, I'll watch it. Might even get to 4 episodes maximum. I'll be like, yo, son, this show wasn't that interesting for me to finish it. I'm a very hard critic when it comes to shows, and all you gotta do is really that simple. People gonna say I'm a hard critic, but it's really this simple. This is how simple it is. You have to engage me. I have to be engaged the entire show. Just action isn't gonna engage me. Something exciting happens, that's not gonna engage me. The whole gumbo pot that this story is presenting me with, the storyline, the characters, the acting, the wonder when the show starts, when people are having dialogue, when things happen, do I want to, am I eager to see what happens next? Am I watching this show fully in tune, fully engaged, or am I half watching the show on TikTok or on Instagram, on YouTube, while the show is playing in the background? That plays a very important part. I don't want to have my computer on and me being on the phone watching YouTube because I watch Netflix mainly through my computer because I got a nice screen. TVs are kind of overrated nowadays. When you got a computer, it does everything. I don't need the giant 42, 60-inch TV. I operate mainly from the room. This is where I work from. This is where I operate from. Unless I'm going outside the house or if I'm going in the living room for 30 minutes to watch TV, I watch the TV in there for 15, 20, 30 minutes. This show, if I didn't have, God forbid, my monitor screen, I would easily go downstairs, spend, had to be a 5 hour season. The first, volume one of Stranger Things was 4 episodes and it was 5 hours because the final episode of volume one was an hour and 23 minutes. Very good finale. Okay? The budget, the plot, the storyline, everything that I mentioned earlier, the camera work, the seriousness of the overall show, even though that there's kids involved in the show is actually very serious. Stranger Things is one of them shows that at first you might think it's just for children, but you really soon realize, hopefully this isn't a spoiler, that these kids, they are in a point in their lives that they have to grow really fast because there are mystical things, different dimension that isn't really explained unless you watch the show, that they have to go through, uh put their lives on the line to save some things, to save someone. Stranger Things, From, and what's the name of that show is always held down there? Lioness. Those are the three shows this year I would recommend any one of y'all. Okay? I'll recommend any one of y'all this show. The show is good. Now, without any spoilers, Stranger Things this season I give it a 9 out of 10. It's beautiful. It's a 9 out of 10. That's what I give it. 9 out of 10. Now I could get into more detail with this. This is a documentary, okay? This is a documentary. Hold on. This Diddy documentary, the first episode, Pain versus Love. Right? This show, this series, I don't really stay in tune with celebrities when it comes to documentaries. I don't watch documentaries. Is something that is not interesting to me, because I never really be like, yo, let me go watch the documentary. The reason why I had the flames in the back, because this documentary is setting up, to me, in my opinion, it is setting up to furthermore tarnish Diddy's name. If not, he ain't tarnished it enough already with the actions that he is alleged to do. Even though he won the case, technically, he beat the RICO charge, he beat the sex trafficking charges, but he did get the prostitution charges. This documentary, it solidifies the legend, or it is solidifying the legend of Puff Daddy. But at the same time, it is keeping that notorious aspect of his now name when it came to the Tupac situation, the conspiracy of who did and who may have murdered Tupac and who was involved, the conspiracy of Biggie, the conspiracy of certain things that happened in Diddy's past when it came to um the things he was dealing with as a youngin, the things he was dealing with his mom, how that relationship was. Was it abusive? Was it not? Apparently, it was very abusive. So this is not 100% hit job of Diddy, because they do talk about how he came up, what type of hunger he had, who raised him, who was he mentored by, who believed in him, who didn't believe in him, how violent he was, what type of hustle he had since he was younger. They get into all that. They get into why he was great, but they also get into the dark side of him, the dark side of Diddy. I thought the camera work, how they introduced each character, each person that may have had a hand in Diddy, and whatever environment it was, from the Eric Sermon to the people that he may or may not have had um SA dealings with them, the people around him. You watching him taking pictures with fans. You watching him first scene. He sitting in his hotel room, gray, looking stressed. He don't got the same makeup on he usually have, the same glow. Look like he just woke up. He on the phone talking to his lawyer. You see cops literally outside. You see them outside across in the hotel room. In his hotel room, he's watching across in another building. The police are on the roof watching his room. You seeing the stress. You seeing the suspense of the current situation that's happening to him before his trial that he just had not too long ago in 2025, that he, in my opinion, he beat the trial. He could have had 30 plus years. He ended up with 4 years. You seeing all that. You watching this thing I didn't know. He had a particular tragedy happen when he was hosting a basketball game when he was younger, and apparently people died. 9 people died. And that was from what the witnesses and the people that been around Sean Diddy Combs in the documentary stated when that particular happening happened, that is the situation that propelled his name at first. People seen him. That's people noticed him through a tragedy. There's a lot of dark aspects of the story, but there's a lot of light in it too. So I recommend every single one of y'all watch this. This is very good. I only seen the first episode. A lot of quotes was in this. A lot of allegations was in this. A lot of people had things they talked about with Pac, and if he definitely had situation with that, if he definitely did something with that. This was a very hardy documentary if you don't know, especially if you don't know a lot of information on Diddy. I didn't know a lot of this shit because I don't keep up with every celebrity's backstory. I like the music. I like the entertainment. I'm not engulfed in every celebrity's life. So I learned a lot from this. I learned that Diddy had a crazy upbringing. And when you learn about his upbringing, you understand the man a little bit more. So 50 Cent and whoever else produced this film, this documentary, they really seem like they was meticulous with however they put these things together, the information that they found, the footage that allegedly came from an ex Diddy cameraman because he wasn't getting paid from Diddy. He just gave 50 Cent the footage. Now on the internet, right? There's some aspects of this documentary that have a lot of people talking, right? One of those aspects is why did 50 Cent do this film? Why did he do it? Every man knows, every man that has a particular pride about himself, a particular um thing about themselves when they deal with women is this. 50 Cent and Diddy had issues not just from 50 being told by P. Diddy in an interview, yo, or wherever they was at, yo, let me take you shopping. It wasn't that, right? If a dude that I don't like or that I grew to not like goes after my baby mother or love of my life or girlfriend or whatever, we both in the same industry. My girl ain't really in the industry, but you went after her because she was mine. When it comes to a man's pride and ego, things like this is inevitable that a clash will occur. Bad blood will occur. It don't matter what you say. Men are very territorial over who they marked, who they imprinted, especially, right? This effort that 50 Cent put into this documentary, you could see it, you could feel it, you could things are cited and sourced in this film. This was very personal in my opinion. But that doesn't neglect the fact that this was very uh good in terms of me reviewing just even the first episode. I know just from the first episode The rest of the documentary is also gonna be good, and I recommend anybody to watch it. Now, the audience may think 50's doing it because he just wanted to take advantage of the situation. Of course, he wanted to take advantage of the situation. He's a marketer. He's a person that makes sure he takes advantage of every opportunity that's set in front of him. You understand? He does that with everything. He does that even on his Instagram when other things happen that happen outside of him. He might post something that happened. He might post a meme, and then right under it, he gonna hashtag his brand, his drinks, his headphones, his show, his building, his. That's what 50 do, right? We all know him as a marketer. He's gonna market, so he could say certain things, but because we know his 50, and that's how his brand was built, it helps him and never hurts him. Even though he did this maybe out of spite, this Diddy documentary, it only propels his name. It doesn't add no dirt to his jacket that stops his bag at any point. He did the right move because his brand 50, when it comes to beef, it is what it is forever. It's up forever. So to add insult to injury, we're gonna do a documentary on you. Yeah, listen, we're not gonna completely defame you, but we are gonna put a lot of things that people may not have known. We're gonna bring in such and such chick that said you did something to her and filmed it and posted it for everybody in the crowd. We're gonna talk about Alpo and how you learned that from Alpo because you was a guy that glorified, respected, adored, wanted to be like Alpo. We're gonna put all that in. That's what 50's mindset is. He's a tactician. He's one that partakes in the 48 laws of power. If you read that book or haven't read it, I suggest you read it. If you have read that book, then you understand what I'm talking about. The documentary was good. Go watch it. Stranger Things, the show was good. Go watch it. Netflix is making a lot of big moves, right? Speaking of Netflix, they're making a lot of big moves. From what I heard through the grapevine, I may have seen an article that maybe it's wrong. Batman, the new Batman, this the sequel to the last one that came out a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago maximum. That is gonna debut on Netflix, exclusively on Netflix. So Netflix is making a lot of big moves. They just bought Warner Brothers. They trying to put movies that don't even enter the theaters. They don't even want them to enter the theaters. You coming on Netflix, right? And you're gonna bring us more subscribers, more followers, more this, more that. They making moves to try to be the Apple of the video industry, streaming industry, the entertainment industry, in terms of movies, film, TV shows, all that. And I applaud it. I like it. I like to see it. I like to see where it goes. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in this Stink Pieces and Conversations. I know it's probably been like 3 months. It's been a crazy 3 months, but how I operate now when it comes to these podcast episodes is I'm just gonna do them when I feel or when I see something that sparks my brain for me to talk about. If it's nothing that I want to talk about, I ain't gonna do an episode or force it. It's quality control. I hope you can respect that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, Think Pieces and Conversations. I'm out of here.